There are cases where lifting lighter weight for higher repetitions is superior to lifting heavier weights. And I am going to give you the top 5 reasons lifting lighter weight with more repetitions is superior to lifting heavy weight with lower repetitions. And we're going to jump right into it with number 1. Welcome to First Responder Fitness with Carl Wimmer, where armor is forged through mental, spiritual, and physical preparation. Welcome to First Responder Fitness with Carl Wimmer, my friends. It is great to have you with us again for another podcast episode. Hope you're enjoying these episodes, and I hope you're learning a lot. Man, I'm excited to provide for you some of the finest information that you can find on the internet, on YouTube, on Spotify when it comes to health, fitness, longevity, all of the things that you need as a first responder, all those things you need as just a person in life, someone who cares about health and fitness, someone who cares about living a long, healthful, happy life. That is our goal here at First Responder Fitness. That is my goal for you, and we're here to do it with you. With that being said, the second Friday of January has come and gone. And do you know what the second Friday of January is known as? I don't like the term, but it is known as Quitter's Day. The second Friday of January is oftentimes noted as the day where, unfortunately, a majority of people who set New Year's resolutions for the year, they've already quit. But you know, we at First Responder Fitness, we have set up a foolproof system for you to continue with your New Year's resolutions. And I want to once again draw your attention to the Habits to Healthy in 1 Year program. It's not for sale. It is completely free. It is a program that we have set up where if you follow along month to month, even if you join us in the middle of the year, you join us in May or June or July, it doesn't matter. You can pick up right then and there. What we are doing is each month we are putting together a new video with new habits that will help you become healthy in a year. And if you just follow along and follow this program, follow these habits, you will stack at least 12, 15, maybe 20 new habits within a year that will change your life. They will change your metabolic health. They will change they will recomp your entire body. You will gain muscle. You will lose fat. Your blood pressure will go down. Your overall metabolic health will improve. And if you have missed any of these episodes, we've only done one so far because we're going month to month in the year 2025. If you've missed that first episode, go back to our Spotify homepage, our YouTube homepage. Look for the episode that has a target that says Habits to Healthy in 1 Year. You can click and watch that shorter episode that talks about this particular month, the first month, drinking more water and tracking the food that you eat. In addition to that, you can go to any of our social media platforms, whether it be Spotify, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, or X. And in the homepage, you will find our link tree. Click on the link tree, and it will take you to not only to many products that we recommend. If you click on the products, you can purchase them right through the link tree. But it also provides free downloadable PDFs that look similar to this, with the target on the front and Habits to Healthy in a Year. And it talks about that particular month's habit that we are going to continue to stack month after month for an entire year. So excited. And I encourage you to jump on, even if the second Friday of the month was Quitter's Day for you, jump back on. Don't give up. You are never defeated until you stop completely. So let's just get back into this, back into the swing of things. I was talking to a dear friend of mine who has started with these habits to healthy. And unfortunately, tragedy hit his family, my family, in fact, because we are related. And he was talking to me and saying, I'm having a hard time this last week because he had to plan a funeral. He had to plan all these different things. And you know what? That's okay. Roger is his name, and it's okay. Just pick right back up where you are now. Life gets the best of us. Life gets all of us at one time or another. And you know what? We just dust ourselves up, pick ourselves up, dust ourselves off, and jump right back on. Well, I'm excited to bring you another episode. This is an exciting episode, an episode that, quite frankly, it's needed because it is a continuation of the episode I did last week that talks a lot about really the comparison between heavy weights and light weights. What is better? And we discussed whether or not one particular system, whether lifting heavy with lower reps, was vastly better for health and hypertrophy and muscle building than doing lightweight with higher reps. And we came to the ultimate conclusion that the meta-analysis, the randomized controlled studies that have been conducted on this ad nauseum, they have researched this to death, shows that there is really no difference in the benefits of building muscle and hypertrophy, the growth of muscle, laying down that cross-sectional portion of the muscle tissue and increasing your muscle mass. There really is no difference between the two as long as the two most important things are present. And that is, one, you're taking each set to or near failure. And number two, your volume is the same whether or not you're lifting heavy with lower reps or you're lifting lighter with higher reps, keeping the volume the same. Those two things are critical. With that being said, however, there are distinct benefits to both methodologies. And that is why at the end of last video, which I encourage you to go back and watch, I lay out very clearly that I suggest all people, especially our first responders, implement both systems. That you work out maybe for a quarter of the year, 3 months, using the heavy weights and the lower repetitions, and then mix it up for 3 months, or figure out what works best for you, but using both in your routine. Well, today I want to discuss why lifting lighter weights and using higher repetitions is better than lifting heavy with lower repetitions. And I know that might blow your mind knowing my background coming from a competitive powerlifting background, being someone who for much of my life was dedicated solely to lifting the maximal amount of weight one time. And so here I am, former world champion powerlifter, and I'm about to tell you why lifting lighter weight with higher reps is better. But you know, there are cases where lifting lighter weight for higher repetitions is superior to lifting heavier weights. And I am going to give you the top 5 reasons lifting lighter weight with more repetitions is superior to lifting heavy weight with lower repetitions. And we're going to jump right into it with number one. The first benefit to lifting lighter with higher repetitions, keeping in mind that we need to take every set as close to failure as possible and keeping our volume high, the number one benefit is enhanced muscle endurance. Using lighter weights for higher repetitions will build your muscular stamina better than lifting heavier weights and lower repetitions. It gives you the ability or the improved ability to sustain prolonged activity. And this is important, especially important for, let's say, you wildland firefighters out there who may be digging or shoveling or clearing brush all day long. Now, I'll tell you, I worked as a law enforcement officer, as a SWAT team commander, and most of my career I spent as a powerlifter, as a competitive powerlifter. I was stronger than most of the people that I came in contact with, and it gave me great confidence to know that I could overpower most of the bad guys that I was arresting if they chose to resist. However, in a previous episode, I explained to you a particular fight I got into. One of the most vicious, violent, physical altercations that I got into with a man who was much smaller than I was, yet he was strung out on PCP. And we fought hard for a long period of time. And at the end of this fight, when it was all said and done and he was taken to the hospital, I had fractured his jaw in two different places. I had knocked out a few of his teeth. He had bitten me in the thigh and scratched my face. And it was a brutal, brutal fight. And he continued to go for my gun. There were several just dangerous, dangerous things that took place here. But the key thing that stands out in my mind was how fatigued I was getting. And I've said it before, and I will say it again. An old combat adage is this, that fatigue makes cowards of all men. And I have to tell you, the thought went through my mind as I was fighting this gentleman, that I'm either going to beat him to death or I am going to get so tired that I'll be useless and he's going to kill me. And so in that one instance, all of my power, all of my experience as a boxer, as a fighter in the combat sports, all of my strength as a power lifter was helpful, yes. But I really wished that I had more muscular endurance during that particular fight. And so using lighter weights for higher repetitions will increase and enhance your muscle endurance. It helps to just give you the ability to last longer over a sustained period of time. And the research bears that out. The second advantage to lighter weight and higher repetition is a reduced risk of injury. Using lighter weights decreases the strain on the joints and your connective tissues, and that is so, it's irreplaceable when it comes to wanting to be someone who lifts for a lifetime, someone who exercises for a lifetime. I have severe injuries, having fractured my spine and have a spinal cord injury, in fact, from my powerlifting days, that I cannot lift quite as heavy. Well, I can't lift near as heavy as I used to. I'm still lifting heavier than most people. But the fact is, I really enjoy using lighter weight for higher repetitions these days because I have some sore knees on occasion. My back, obviously, is something I need to watch out and be careful with. And so the lighter weight with higher repetitions does help with reducing your risk of injury. If you have bad knees, let's just say you suffer from TMB syndrome, TMB, too many birthdays. If you've had too many birthdays and your joints are starting to get a little creaky and they're starting to wear out and they're starting to ache a little bit, then lighter weights and higher repetitions just might be what the doctor ordered for you. It is this way of working out is suitable for those who have joint issues, older people, those who are recovering from injuries. Let me tell you something. One of the biggest excuses that people use to not go to the gym is they get injured or they have a surgery. Okay. If you have a surgery on your left arm and you now can't go to the gym for 8 weeks, no. You go to the gym and you work out the rest of your body. But when you get back into where you can use your other arm, perhaps you need to use lighter weight, higher repetitions, and to get that arm working again, to get everything moving again, to get the muscles building and growing again. I'm telling you, lighter weight and higher repetitions, when taken to failure, works just as well at building muscle tissue as heavier weights. But it really benefits those of you who are recovering from injury. So make no mistake about it. Lighter weights with higher repetitions can build muscle very, very well. It can build endurance very well. And it helps you if you've been injured, and it helps reduce injury. So if you are a new lifter, if you're an older lifter, or you're someone coming back to the gym after a long, lengthy layoff, I highly suggest lighter weights, higher repetitions. The third advantage to lifting lighter weight for higher repetitions is improved form and technique. This is so important, especially for those of you who have a tendency to ego lift. You'll go in on the bench press and your butt will be off the bench and it'll be 3 or 4 feet in the air and your butt's above your head and your back is all twisted and contorted and your shoulders are all twisted and contorted, but you got that rep, right? No. Lighten the weight and do more reps. Use better form. I can't tell you how many times people will do way too heavy weights on side shoulder laterals. You know, you got the dumbbells in front of you and you're lateraling out. And they use way too heavy a weight and they're using momentum to lift the weight. Well, that's not going to build your shoulders very well. Lighten it up. Use good form, good technique. Use more repetitions if you need to. Lighter weights allow you to use better form, better posture, and it allows you to focus on that muscle-mind connection, sometimes better than using the heavier weights. And so that is so good for hypertrophy. If there is perhaps one reason why lighter weight with higher repetitions works just as well as heavier weight with lower repetitions, it is because instead of relying on momentum and bouncing the weight and jerking and moving all over the place, you're focusing on the tension on the muscle. That is so important. It's really important for you new lifters, or for those of you that are older, or those of you that have been out of the gym for a while, to master technique before you start piling on the weights. So improving your technique and mastering the technique and mastering the form is so important for avoiding injuries and for optimizing your workout efficiency. You want an efficient workout? Make sure that you get the proper technique down before you start adding all this crazy weight. This is especially critical when it comes to some of the lifts that are perceived as dangerous. Let's just say squatting or the various deadlifts. Anything that is multi-joint and requires some agility and some experience. I mean, even the bench press. You throw a new person on a bench press and have them start bench pressing. Have you ever seen how awkward it looks? The bar is moving all over the place. It's jerking back and forth. They move at very unusual speeds and paces. Well, that is simply because their nervous system, their body, their muscles are not used to that movement. Use lightweight. Encourage your friends, your family, the people you're around to use lighter weight with good form and get the technique down before you ever think of increasing it. For new lifters, for older lifters, for lifters who have been away from the gym, I suggest lighter weight, higher repetitions for at least 6 months. Work hard at getting the technique down. You get those techniques down and you will be so much further ahead than where you otherwise would be. The fourth benefit to lighter weight, higher repetitions compared to heavier weight, lower repetitions is in fact an increased metabolic demand. What the heck does that mean? Increased metabolic demand. Well, bottom line, it means that you can burn more calories with lighter weights. Using lighter weight over a period extends the length of your set. Yeah, let's just say, for instance, you're doing a set of barbell squats, and where you would go in and you would do a heavier set of 6 to 8 repetitions. That may take you 30 seconds, maybe 30 seconds, 40 seconds tops. That's if you're using really good form and you're concentrating on moving the weight with your muscles. But if you go in and you do a set of barbell squats and you do a set of 30 or a set of 25 to 30, I'm going to be honest with you. I am going to venture to say that some of you don't even have the courage to do that. Now, I don't mean to insult you. Please don't get it twisted. But do you know how hard a set of barbell squats, back squats, is when taken to failure and you're doing 25 to 30 or even 35 repetitions? That is hard work. Any of you who followed the old Tom Platz, Mike Mentzer method. Tom Platz, I believe, wrote a book called Big Beyond Belief back in the 80s, maybe the 90s. And I had that book. And at one point, it called for a set of squats of 50 repetitions. And you had to have a weight that you went at or near failure at around 50 repetitions. I clearly remember vomiting after that first particular round of doing that, because you get breathing so hard. Your heart is pounding through your chest. And a set of 30 repetitions on a squat, when taken almost to failure, that could take more than a minute to conduct. So this increased metabolic demand, the higher repetition workouts with a lighter weight elevates your heart rate and burns more calories. It actually improves your cardiovascular strength, believe it or not. The thing is the bottom line is lifting weights burns far less calories than you think it does. A lot of people think that, oh, I went to the gym, I lifted weights today, so I can go to the buffet and I'm not going to gain weight or fat. No, that's not true at all. Lifting weights, a workout consisting of lifting weights only burns far, far, far less calories than you think. And so that's why if you're wanting to lose body fat, you do that in the kitchen with nutrition and with a calorie deficit and throw in some cardio on top of your weightlifting. You're not going to do it with weightlifting alone unless you have iron will when it comes to the calorie deficit and making sure that your nutrition is absolutely on point. Doing weights with higher repetitions and lighter weight does burn more calories. It doesn't burn a boatload more, but it absolutely does burn more. And so I would just encourage you, if you're looking to cut, if you're looking to really reduce body fat and to still gain muscle, it just might be worth looking at lighter weight and higher repetitions for your workout for a period of time. The fifth and final advantage to lighter weight, higher repetitions is accessibility and convenience. You can do workouts in your home with just a small amount of dumbbells, kettlebells, or other resistance equipment. If you live in an apartment or a small condominium and you don't have money to join a gym, although these days gym memberships are ridiculously affordable, but I understand how life is, and I understand how expensive things are these days, and I understand that everyone is stretching their dollar and trying to make it last longer. So if you purchase a small weight set for your home, you can get a fantastic workout from home, and you don't have to spend a ton of money buying thousands and thousands of pounds of weight. Now, when my powerlifting club was kicked out of a very large, world-renowned fitness chain back in the late 90s, early 2000s, for bending bars, we were asked not to come back. We turned my basement into a gym, and we spent a lot of money. Power racks, reverse hyper machine, calf ham glute raise machine, and I think about 2,000 pounds of weights, dumbbells that went up to 125 pounds. And so we spent a lot of money because, again, we were focused on power. But since we're talking about lower weights, higher reps, you don't need that much. Get yourself a bench press, get yourself maybe a cable machine of some sort that you can put in your bedroom, put in the corner, and you can get some great, great workouts by following a lighter weight, higher repetition routine. You don't have to have all the best equipment. You don't have to have all the finest stuff and all the heaviest stuff. You can incorporate lighter weights into your home workouts, and you can get very, very fit. You can do push-ups, put a weight on your back, a weighted vest, and do push-ups. You can do so many things that are cost-effective and save space in your gym or in your home. It just using lighter weight and higher repetitions makes fitness more approachable for a broader audience. For you, I don't know what your situation is, but there should be no excuses. We have no excuses when it comes to being out of shape. You do not need to be able to be able to lift a ton in order to be in shape. You can get in shape with lighter weight and higher repetitions. You can build muscle with higher weights or with lighter weight and higher repetitions, just as easy as the person who goes to the gym and is piling on the weight. You can do it. So I just want to encourage you. Again, the top 5 advantages of lightweight, higher repetitions: enhanced muscle endurance, reduced risk of injury, improved form and technique, increased metabolic demand, and accessibility and convenience. These 5 benefits are so good that anyone and everyone should try it. I encourage you to experiment with lighter weights and find out if they're for you. Find out if using lighter weights for higher repetitions are for you, especially if you're a new lifter, especially if you're an older lifter, especially if you have injuries or pain in your joints or anything else. Experiment, try it for a while, and see if it doesn't work for you. Now, I can't wait until next week, because next week we get into my bread and butter: heavier weights, lower reps, and the 5 advantages to that style of lifting. But why not do both? Why not do both? Implement both. Be a well-rounded athlete, a well-rounded person. And I say athlete because you are an athlete. If you are exercising, if you are working to improve your physical condition, then guess what? You are an athlete. And I just encourage you today, get to the gym, start lifting, or get yourself some home equipment, or just hit the ground and knock out some push-ups every single day and start doing it without fail. You can do it. You can improve your conditioning. You can pile on the muscle. You can lose the fat, and you can improve your health for the rest of your life. I am here for you. If you have any questions at all, leave it in the comments. I will answer every single one of them personally. Make sure you share this video, like, and subscribe so you don't miss another episode. I just encourage you, keep up the great work. Until next time, be good to yourself, be good to others, and as always, stay safe.